Samsung unveils their brand new HDR10 Plus for gaming. Now, if you're like me, you're pretty annoyed by this news because everybody kind of has been on the same page. They need Dolby Vision. I mean, it's the one thing that has been holding them back, and it's farther along than HDR10 Plus. Now they're trying to launch something that kind of is new, but not really. We've heard of HDR10 Plus, it exists for movies. It's all but dead right now. I mean, seriously, can you find much in the way of HDR10 Plus support? No. And I think they're just beating a dead horse here because they're being cheap and they don't want to pay the licensing fees to Dolby. But at the end of the day, it's news, it's something to talk about, and we are going to talk about it. So, what this encompasses is variable refresh rates, automated HDR calibration, which I find rich because there is no industry standard. So, they're basically kind of creating an in house standard, if you will. And then, of course, low latency source tone mapping. Now, the big thing here is they claim that with their low latency source tone mapping and all that stuff, there will be absolutely zero lag of any kind, and basically everything's going to be smooth. And then, moreover, they talk about their dynamic range for their HDR, and they talk about a range of 0 to 1000 nits. So, I think this plays a lot into what people are suspecting next year with OLED, because if you're going down to a range of 0 nits, this definitely encompasses OLED. So I feel like this is kind of like a confirmation of sorts that they're going to be going with a quantum dot OLED next year, but also we'll have to wait for something a little bit more concrete. But what I find most interesting is that they have an automated HDR calibration that they're claiming that they're going to be coming out with. This is interesting because there is no industry standard, as you know, so this would be kind of like a first of sorts, like actual you trying to push some sort of automated calibration, or really more realistically is them trying to make it sound like they're going to calibrate everything up to some imaginary standard which doesn't exist right now, and then try to then sell it to the masses. I see this failing miserably because number one, there is no HDR standard, and for those that are wondering, you need a universal way of approaching HDR before you start saying you're going to calibrate to HDR. You cannot calibrate something. To calibrate is to calibrate and adjust to a reference accurate standard. No such reference accurate standard exists. It just doesn't exist. So anyone saying that they can calibrate without any form of reference accurate anything is kind of not, it's not calibrating. It's just you tuning and adjusting the TVs to certain parameters. So I don't know how they're going to implement this. I don't know what this looks like, but essentially I want to get your thoughts on it. Do you think Samsung's out of their depth, or do you think this is going to be game changing and surpass what we've seen on Xbox with Dolby Vision gaming? That being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later.